The professional version of Caterese allows you to create conditional deposit schedules for each type of event you book and will automatically calculate due dates and due amounts based on your settings. It will even update those due dates and amounts based on changes to the party. To set up your conditional deposit schedules, click the Administration ribbon tab at the top of the screen and then click the Options button and choose the option Deposit Schedule. You can see here in my program I have two separate deposit schedules, one for any party that has a category of business, and this deposit schedule expects a $500 deposit 1 day after the party has been booked, and then 100% of the remaining balance 0 days before the actual event or on the date of the event itself. If I click on that second deposit, you can see at the bottom of the window in the details, this is calling for 100% of the remaining balance. Notice I also have a separate deposit schedule for all other kinds of events. In this circumstance, I want 20% of the balance of a party due 1 week after the party's been booked, and then 100% of whatever remains a week before the actual party itself. Well, let's say I also have a very unique deposit schedule for any weddings I do. I'm going to add a new schedule by clicking the green plus sign at the top on the left of this window to add a custom schedule condition. For my example, I am going to base my condition on a particular theme of party, although as you can see, you can base your condition based on the party's status, its category, its business type, sales rep, etc. I am going to choose theme, and then I have my custom quick pick list of themes, and I will choose in this example the option wedding reception. Now when I click OK, I have added my new conditional schedule, and at the top right of the window I can hit a green plus sign to add the specific deposit details. I'm going to begin this schedule by saying if I ever book a wedding 1 week after the party is booked, so I will change these two options to be after and booked date, I would like a specific amount due, in this case specifically $1,000. Now I'll come up to the top and hit the green plus sign again, and this time I'll add a deposit that will be due 1 month after the booked date, again changing these conditions as necessary. And now I want a percentage, in this case 10%, and it won't be 10% of the total balance because the customer has already paid $1,000 by this point. Instead, I want 10% of whatever remains in the party. Next, I'll add a deposit that takes place 3 full months after the party has been booked, and in this case, I am expecting 20% of the remaining balance. Then I'll create a condition where 6 weeks before the event takes place, I am expecting a full 50% of the remaining balance due. And then finally, my last deposit will be due 1 week before the wedding, and it will be 100% of whatever remains. More than likely, most deposit schedules you create will have the final line being 100% of whatever remains due for the party. Now, one last very important thing here. Notice on the left side of this window, my new conditional deposit schedule for a wedding reception falls underneath the catch-all for all events. This is very important to know because the program will go through each of these conditions and it will stop when it gets a yes. So for example, if I book a wedding, the first thing the program will do will say, is this a business party? It will say no, and then it will move on. The next thing it will do is say, is this an event? And of course, that answer will be yes, so it will stop there and apply that schedule. What this means is you want to take this new deposit schedule that you've created and you literally want to drag it above your catch-all of all events. Make sure whenever you come to this window that the all events catch-all is the last conditional schedule on this list. Okay, let's go ahead and click OK at the bottom of this window, and let's jump into Event Manager to see this powerful tool in action. I'm going to use the Finder tool here in Event Manager to search for a wedding where the client name is Bing. Here you can see Monica and Chandler are getting married and they have a total value of their party of $14,046.60, and the wedding takes place on May 22nd of 2021. Now on the right side of your Event Manager window is the Deposits Due button. If I click that button, I could simply click the green plus sign here and add deposits by hand. But in my professional version, it's much easier to just make scheduled deposits from that conditional deposit schedule I just created. I'll click this button and notice the program instantly calculates. 1 week after the party was booked, which in my case it was booked today, I need $1,000 down. And then 1 month after it was booked, I need 10% of the balance. I need 20% of the balance 3 months after the book date, and then I need half of the remaining balance 6 weeks before the wedding, and 100% of whatever remains the week before the wedding happens. Of course, as you probably already know, when you receive the payment, you can simply click this checkbox next to paid, and you can click this Add to Payments button to copy that money instantly into the payments of this party, and note the next deposit and its due date are instantly and automatically updated so you can track them. Now, one last very cool thing about this feature, I will get out of this event, of course, saving the changes I've made. And now I will right-click on the main screen and go to the option Global Settings. Here, if you go to the Miscellaneous tab, you'll notice you have the option to have caterees automatically adjust those deposit due amounts or due dates based on changes you make to your parties. I would recommend checking both of these off, and that way if the Bings postpone their wedding or if the total for the wedding changes, the due dates and due amounts will automatically adjust. Any program can let you record deposits for a party, but only Caterees allows you to build custom deposit schedules that will be conditional based on certain details about a party, and then automatically calculate the due dates and due amounts and even update them whenever necessary.